Welcome to this week's episode from the wings. And we literally are almost in the wings of Overshadowed right now. So Mike Larson, as many of you might recognize, is our technical director at Overshadowed, and I have asked him if he would join us to talk a little bit about the making of Singing in the Rain. So can you tell us what we decided to do and why and how that has kind of worked?
To make it rain?
To make it rain.
Well, the first thing is we didn't want levels, right? You didn't want to have a step up so the person was dancing on a platform.
So and let me explain why. Because even though everybody knows or is thinking, yes, it's going to rain, or is it going to rain? If you have a upper level back at the upstage and all of a sudden it's time for that song and the actor goes back there and he steps up, then I just felt like it didn't look that realistic, and so I said no, I want it all to be flat. So that's why.
Yeah. So of that regard, then okay, well, how do you make it rain? And we don't have a large understage area, right? So, do I give away the nuts?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Tell all.
So in terms of the stage itself, we decided that we would waterproof the existing stage. So we had some folks that did like flat roofing. Put down some water barrier over the existing stage, and then built a new entire stage on top of our existing stage. Exactly. So with some framing, and then sheeted that, and that gave us some space between the new stage and the existing stage to collect water. And it's the entire size of the stage, so you can collect a lot of water that way. And then we did drill a hole in the existing stage and put in a drain, so that as the water went down past the new stage floor to the existing, then it would drain out, and we have hoses going outside. And the way we make sure the water gets down off the new stage is we left gaps around all of the sides of the flooring, so that the water on the surface would go to the edges and run down. So that's what happens. We can pour as much water as we possibly want, and it will go through around the cracks of the flooring and out the drain, and so that's how we got that. That's how the stage.
Well, so were there any hang-ups or drawbacks from just the stage part of it before we get to the rest of the process?
Well, yeah, we had to figure out. First of all, we used a marine grade plywood and sealed it on all sides, and hopefully that'll last because it's getting soaking wet every single show, we used a fairly lightweight wood framing, like 2x2 material, to lay down, and that proved to warp a little bit because it's lightweight. And so to try to keep the surface flat, we had to add some additional brackets and whatnot. Another challenge is it's extremely loud to tap on, which is both great and not so great.
Yeah.
So our existing stage...
The people who can't hear are going to enjoy this because they're going to hear everything.
They're going to hear tapping, that's for sure. So the existing stage had soundproofing, but in the top layer we don't now. So
that is a hang-up because with the regular stage, with there being soundproofing, then when somebody walks across the stage, then you don't hear it as loudly. And now for this one, every step that anybody takes is a little
louder, this approach.
How do we make it rain?
So that's exciting. And like I was saying, some people just pump in new water from a source. We have water tanks off in the wings.
In the wings.
Yeah. And so we are pumping.
So it really comes from the wings.
It really does. It comes from the wings stage right, as a matter of fact. Well, it's a bit of a wing. This is as big as our wing. So we have water barrels, 55-gallon drums, a couple of them, and we are pumping that out of there with sump pumps that are controlled by the lighting console or lighting software.
So they don't even have to turn it on. Mm-mm. You have it connected so that you literally in the tech booth can turn it on and off.
I turn it on. I have the power. So we pump that up. It goes up, and there's pipes in the ceiling that we have drilled holes in. And some people think, oh, drilled holes. You'd think you drill holes at the bottom. No, we drill holes at the top of the pipe. So it shoots the water up above the pipe, and then we have like rain gutters upside down above that. So the water squirts up, hits that, comes down the edges. And we have more than one of those
How
pipes.
did you think of that idea? That's to make it look more natural, right? So that it's not just like symmetrically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the pipe with the holes pointing up, we sort of figured ourselves. One of the places that we saw, and I talked to their technical person, they just had a groove in their pipe. They had a 4-inch pipe with a groove, and they just let it roll over the edges, and so the pipe became how we separated the water into 2 different channels. But we decided to try it with holes in the rain gutter. So we tested it. Johannan got the material, and we set it up out here in the grass and on a couple of ladders, and we tested it, and it looked
I was so
fantastic.
sad I wasn't there for that. I
Yeah.
wanted to see it so
and
badly.
it looked good. We wanted it to look real. We wanted it to be a lot of water. We wanted it to look real, and so it was an approach that worked out pretty well. Of course, you have to cap the end of the pipe so you can build up pressure.
Oh, well, yeah. So you leave the water pipes full all the time.
Yeah. So we have check valves like on your sump pump at home, so that the water stays in the pipe. So when I turn on the sump pumps, the water's immediately raining. Otherwise, you'd have to fill up.
Yeah. So you wouldn't have any control over how long it was going to take once the scene started before the rain started falling.
You might you might be able to say, well, gee, it's 45 seconds and plan in advance. But this way
it's instantaneous.
The water stays there. Yeah. And then we have a couple of heaters in there in the 55-gallon drums to heat the water.
I don't think that the actor who's doing it wants it, though.
Yeah, we heated it. We said, okay, it was 85 degrees. What do you think? And he said, I'm so hot from the previous number, I would prefer no heat. So we don't even turn the heaters on.
So in the play, those of you who are familiar with the movie might know that the song Good Morning, which is a very heavy tap number, comes right before Singing in the Rain. So by the time we get to Singing in the Rain, Jason Eisentraut, who's playing our Don Lockwood, is like, whew, bring on the rain. Yeah. Okay, so the rain was a challenge unique of its own. Was there anything that, because of the rain, then as a technical director, besides the lamp, that you had to consider or think about?
Yeah, so we had to, anything that would get wet, that couldn't get wet, we had to reposition or move it. So, of course, the lights had to be completely repositioned. The front monitors, we can't have those get wet, so we've got them covered in a special way that still lets them have sound go through, but they're protected from the water. With an actor that's having water completely poured all over him and he's still singing, you have to be able to pick him up. So I guess I'll give a plug out to Point Source Audio, which manufactures these professional lavaliers. But these are waterproof. But and the design of them makes it so that it's very difficult to get water.
Is that one and that one?
Yeah. So there's, in this case, we have a dual element with 2 body packs. So that we have two microphones on the actor, but only one lav cord with 2 elements on the end.
That's
so
crazy.
This is a dual element. So that if we lose one, we can just immediately switch it over. The hole, there's a tiny little hole at the end where the sound goes in, as opposed to a typical one that has like a kind of a bulb screen on it. And so with this on his face,
that goes on his ear.
This goes over his ear, then he's able to just have a great time.
So Mike, you and I and the board have talked from time to time about the needs at Overshadowed. How would one, if they believed in the mission of Overshadowed, how would one go about helping us make sure that what we're doing continues?
Well, number one, we are, of course, a nonprofit, so we're a 501c3 charity, so we're tax deductible. Most theaters are nonprofit, and they rely on donors or corporate sponsors. What we need corporate sponsors, because we are a Christian theater. There's just a lot of companies that just won't get engaged the way they would if we were just community theater.
Right.
So, but nonetheless, you can reach 25,000, 30,000 people if you're a corporate sponsor with Overshadowed. And our people need handymen and painters and electricians and carpenters and dentists and eye doctors and restaurants and you name it. So we have a nice corporate sponsorship package that's based on the donation level. where they get advertising and place on our website and things like that. So, and they can help community at the same time. And my wife's a corporate sponsor as a realtor, so we know that. And so that's a great way to go. We have monthly donors that people just commit. Say, I can commit to $100 a month or $200 a month,
or $25 a month,
or $5 a month. So all of that goes into helping us keep this organization not just running but improving. And our objective is that our ticket prices will stay low enough to cover the cost of production, but it won't run the company. And so we have very, very fair ticket prices, and the production value is just shocking. So people come and they're expecting something small because the price is small, and they're blown away that what they get, and that's great. I love giving people more than they expect. Yep. So, but yeah.
Do you remember we've talked about before this? Like, I think that sometimes people walk in and they expect less because it's in a church. And so they're like, what is this going to be like? It's at a church. And then they walk out and they're like, oh my goodness, I was blown away. It would be really great if one day we could change the culture and people expect more out of us because we're in a church.
Yeah, well, we
keep trying.
We should. Yeah,
yes,
we should.
Keep trying.
So, yeah, so that's how we can get involved. And we need donors and sponsors, and we need
we need you.
We need seamstresses, and we need
we definitely need seamstresses,
set builders, and
there is a place for you here.
Yeah, it is. It takes an army to put this on, and the results are fantastic.
Yeah. We open a week from tonight, which will be just 4 days after you actually watch this YouTube video, and we are so excited about the next 4 weeks and just seeing the audience enjoy what it is that we put together here for this little iconic show called Singing in the Rain. But until next time, this is just me.
And me.
Talking to you
from the wings.